Wonderful. All right. We're live, Carrie. It's working. I'm so glad to have you here today. So, full disclaimer, everyone, this is my first Zoom Facebook Live. I spent last night figuring out the tech issues. Hopefully, things will run smoothly. Carrie, thank you for joining me live today here in the Dharma Circle. We have so much to talk about. And I want to do a little introduction here as we begin, because you started out in the Dharma Foundations process, and now we're working together in Dharma mentorship. You are a healer with a vast toolkit, and you came to me feeling burned out and not inspired by all of your gifts. And yet it was kind of amazing to me, because here you are with all of this vast toolkit, all these tools you've gathered along the way, and so many embodied gifts that you've already been using, but something felt like it was off. The body was saying, no, I'm not inspired right now. I really want to take a back seat. But something was driving you forward. And so I'm really curious about that. And I want to invite you to share your story and your journey with us today, as a hope that it might inspire others here in the group to stay connected to their gifts and to also be listening to the body. So tell us a little bit about what this journey has been for you. What is your offering? What are your gifts and your tools? And where were you before we met?
Thank you, Swati. Thank you so much for having me here. Well, let's see. It's been such a beautiful journey, and it's also been just so big and beautiful in such a short period of time because of your process. So I feel like there's a little emotion coming up, and so yeah, so thank you so much. Before I met Swati, well, actually, I've been following Swati for about 3 years, actually. And I've been a breathwork practitioner and shamanic healer for that time. I've done a lot of my own spiritual work and plant medicine, and worked with so many teachers and coaches. I can't even tell you. And what happened is, before COVID, I was teaching a lot of group breathwork, doing shamanic healing within those, and energy healing within that breathwork. And it was really powerful for me, and it felt really amazing, and I felt like I was making a huge impact. And then during COVID, a lot of my spaces shut down that I was using. I started doing a lot. I was already doing private one-on-ones, but my business switched to primarily one-on-one private sessions with breathwork and shamanic healing and energetic healing. And there just came a point last year, it was about December, where I felt like I couldn't do it anymore. My body kept saying, no, can't do this. Every time after a session, I felt this huge contraction. I felt like it wasn't right. I didn't feel aligned. And so I spent the next 6 months just taking time off of my healing work. And I started tossing around the idea of doing a nonprofit instead to support Indigenous people and their lands. And I thought that was my purpose, and I was so intent on it. And not to say that that's still not going to be part of my thing, but I actually came to Swati for like clarity, because I was having a lot of clients say, hey, when are you going to start up again? What are you doing? But every time I would do a session, it didn't feel right. And so that's when it was just time. I was like, oh my gosh, everything feels like it's falling apart. I was starving financially at this point. And so I started the mini soul circle, what it was called at that time, the foundations, and started the process. And it was so beautiful. The first part is it's tapping. And even though I had done so much tapping in my life, and breath work and all these things, there was something about Swati's presence and the tapping and the questions she asked that just opened me wide up to see myself so clearly. Things like, it just gave me permission and freedom to be my full self. And during that process, I just got so much clarity on what I wanted to do, what I needed to do for myself. So the missing piece was that I wasn't nourishing myself fully, and I wasn't really using my full range of gifts. And that became so clear in this like inquiry process of like, what are your gifts? What are your gifts from your ancestors? What are your unique gifts? What are your tools? And then just creating clarity around like how that works together. Interacting with Swati within answering the questions and doing the modules. So
yeah, and you had a pretty profound experience just in module 1, and a few people have shown up in that way and experienced that. But I remember your experiences with module 1, and things were cracking wide open. Movement was taking place. Then by the time you got into module 2 and you were clarifying your gifts and your tools and the ancestral thread, something was starting to change for you. So what do you feel like is the shift that took place as you went through these modules? You mentioned that your wholeness wasn't being considered in your offerings, and your body was saying no for some reason. What was your body actually telling you in this process of sharing your gifts and your wisdom?
I think that first layer I went through that was so huge for me was that I learned that my body was in a covert survival mode with leaky boundaries and overgiving and pleasing other people, not just my clients, but also other people in my life, like old cords, I guess you could call it, with my mother. And once we started working with that and that started dropping off, my body started saying thank you. And I started having this whole new relationship with my body. Like even right now, I just feel such peace and whole body chills, just feeling this like new relationship with my body. And I was leaving pieces and parts of me, like dismissing them, talking over them, leaving them behind. And yeah, just it feels so good to just be all here now.
All of you is welcome. All parts of you are now present and at the table, ready to move forward together in your wholeness, integrated parts and pieces. And so that had a huge impact on your readiness to even step forward with your offering and to create pricing that really felt good for your body and felt like a yes instead of I'm scared to ask for this much money. And as I always say, this is about getting your needs met, right? When we ask for the exchange of energy, which is what the financial piece is, this is the body asking for what it needs in order to have reciprocity. And that's going to change. It's going to change throughout our journey. At this point, there's been a shift in your receptivity, your clarity around what do I need and what am I ready to ask for? And what is my body telling me it needs in order for this to feel really nourishing and supportive and for me to get my needs met? So that was also one of the shifts that you had in this process because the money piece wasn't feeling so good. And one-on-one sessions are hard. I mean, it's hard to create a living just doing one-off sessions here and there. And that was also a shift. When we go into module 5 and then module 6 in the Dharma Foundations course, that's where those pieces start to land. So I'm curious, because you also had a really big light bulb moment there as well, where instead of these one-on-one sessions where parts of you were able to come to the table, suddenly the vertebrae of your offering became clear. The vision was really clear. and how you can do this, how you can create this and bring this out into the world also landed for you. So what did you learn or discover in that shift between one-on-one sessions and creating a course offering that includes all of your gifts and wisdom? That's where you are now, and it's really exciting.
It feels so good. For one thing, I can't even believe right now this moment that I had such a blind spot that I wasn't using all my gifts and taking people through a comprehensive. I was getting the insight that I wanted people to have a more comprehensive experience, because my clients were like, I want a life like yours. How do you do that? But yet I was still only offering breath work. And so this just gave me this like huge, like took away all these blind spots, and to be offering something that I feel like is so much value, and that value comes with me and my wisdom and my presence and all of that, and to have it in a course that has a system laid out, and just feels like it's so helpful to other people, but it's also super nourishing to me because of the creative piece. Because of course that was one of the other reasons I was so attracted to you, was this getting to create something, like create this beautiful course is so beautiful. And then knowing that multiple people can go through it at the same time. And I actually enjoy this group. You know, I love doing groups together and having them go through things together because I learn from each other. So yeah, beautiful. And like money wise, it makes so much more sense, right? To be able to share myself with multiple people at the same time, taking them through something that's really life-changing versus just one breathwork, one person. And yeah.
So a bigger impact.
Yeah.
And that's my next, question is, how is this rippling, this new awareness, this new insight, this new way of being in your body and sharing your gifts and wisdom? What's the ripple effect this is having on your life, your body, your business, your relationships, and only share what feels comfortable to share publicly, because I know there's been a deep ripple on a lot of different levels, but what feels shareable in this moment?
Everyone, oh my goodness. The layers and the beauty of like all the different facets of my life, and really my relationships. It's been unbelievable. With my ex-husband, that it has been a process. It's like as Swati teaches, for me, it was through the tapping to keep showing up even when things get hard or challenging. And one of my gifts is also to be with people and hold space during rebirth and transition, and just to have someone there with me and not have to do that alone was so beautiful. So this wasn't easy. I don't want to say it was easy. It was a process, and Swati was with me the whole time. But my relationship with my kids has changed, all three of them. My relationship with my ex, which has been a really big deal for me. And the way that he interacts with my kiddos and not being dismissive with their emotions and their body, that's changed. And also my mom has had this amazing, it's kind of happening now, but we're sharing so much of our texts with like our lineage and our nervous system and being in survival mode. And so I'm getting to share this information with her, which has been so beautiful. Swati doesn't even know this because this has really happened last week.
I only know the other part. This is incredible.
Yeah. And then the other big piece is my partner, who we've been together for 1.5 years, and we have that intense like soulmate, twin soul relationship where we just learn so much together, and we're so willing to show up for each other. And there's been a huge new trust in men that I didn't know that I still had this like not trust in men, and I love him so much, but I kept wanting to step away from the relationship because it felt too hard and to balance it all. But underneath all of that was actually me caring for myself and my body and listening to my body, and having a regulated nervous system. And it's just it's hard to fully express what our relationship is now. And actually the ripple effect doesn't stop there, because he affects a lot of people, and he's a mentor and teacher and coach for a huge group of people, and this is happening for him too now. So it's been really amazing. Yeah.
Oh,
It just feels really yummy.
gosh, it's hard to even grasp how, when we reorient and move into more right relationship with our own bodies and our body wisdom and our dharma, the purpose of our soul, how that restructures those that we come into contact with, those that we're in relationship with. And as a powerful woman and mother and guide, you have huge ability to impact multiple lives, both personally and professionally, through your offerings. And like you just shared, even through your partnership and all of the relationships that you have, your family members. I also want to include the ancestors in this, because even though they aren't on the earth plane, our relationship shift with the ancestors can have an incredible ripple effect on all layers of life, before, during, and after our process here on earth. So this is an incredible reminder, Carrie, and I'm deeply touched. And obviously working with you has been a true gift. I actually, yes, receive so much from working with my incredible clients, and I learn so much, and I grow through witnessing your growth and walking with you. And it's been a true treasure to witness a very fast, rapid fire up level and shift that started in the Dharma Foundations course. We used to call it the Soul Circle. And we just changed it to Dharma Foundations, because it is literally the foundation of your dharmic path and your offerings. And you are a powerful example of what happens when you take those 6 steps, 6 modules, that's all it is, and what can happen in your body, your nervous system, and the integration that can happen with your body and business. So thank you, Carrie, for sharing your remarkable journey. And I'm curious, what's next? Like, what are you moving into? What's the big thing that you're creating now and moving into?
Well, first I want to just add a little piece about the ancestors, because the thing that shifted my relationship with my ex is that I was driving, and I been really reopening up my relationship with the ancestors through this process. And his dad, who has passed away, came in and gave me a message for him, and I gave him the message, which I normally wouldn't have done in the last couple of years. And it was like so beautiful for him. It was like the timing was perfect and everything. He was just like, oh my God. He was like stressing out. He was about to quit his job, and this message from his dad was everything he needed. And so it was really beautiful. And then the other piece is that I did a retreat with 20 women this last weekend. I was just supposed to be the breathwork practitioner, and I came in for an hour, and I did this connection to ancestors and the land, and an offering to the land, and connected these women with their grief and their 4 bodies. And it was the most profound, like amazingly fun and beautiful connecting experience. And everyone was so thankful for it. So I just want to thank you again, Swati, for that. It's an experience. Yeah, it's all happening.
Yes. So where does that go next?
So right now, so that brings me to right now is that I'm so close to launching my offering, and it's an online offering. And I'm going to have a little mini offering like the Foundations course, because that was so profound for me to get people to step into what my offering is going to be, a divine feminine lifestyle. And so I'm getting to offer people this beautiful experience that I've been having, and have been actually having for a few years, but it's just all the missing pieces have appeared through Swati and this work and this Dharma work. And so I'm really excited to coach a group of people and to have little different pieces for everyone, like to meet them where they're at with this gentleness and compassion, and in a way that is just really good for them and their bodies, so that they can reclaim their whole selves and just be in this beautiful place and get to live a beautiful life.
Play, joy, pleasure, vibrancy, full permission to
Mhm.
be your wholeness.
Mhm.
And one of those shifts was, the question around working with men or women or they, them, how does this all work together? And I think that's part of the wholeness piece, is like, I get to work with everyone. Everybody is welcome, and I don't have to compartmentalize women or men. And I imagine this is an expression of that integration that's really happening in your body, where all of you is welcome. All your gifts and wisdom are clear and aligned and available to those who are ready for your wisdom and your gifts. And it is an incredible offering. And I am so excited to be walking with you, watching you birthing this process and finding your new felt sense with sharing and expressing, which is more an embodied. I mean, obviously you've been doing embodiment work for many years, but there's a new layer of connection with, what is my body telling me? What does my body really need? And when we create an offering and a whole business structure rooted in, my body says yes, or, my body's really saying no. And we listen to that and we honor it. And we use that to inform the process, then everything starts to shift. And as you've shared, there's a ripple effect of that. So I'm celebrating you, Carrie, and all of your remarkable shifts. I'm celebrating your ancestors for their willingness and their readiness to grow and expand as well. And I'm so excited that we get to keep working together in our Dharma mentorship process, because Carrie jumped from Dharma Foundations right into private Dharma mentorship. And you're what I consider one of those perfect, ideal, hand selected clients that if I could have said, I want to work with that one, I got really lucky. So thank you so much for joining us today. Is there anything else you want to add, or anything? We'll certainly link to your website and your brand new Facebook group as well. Is there anything else you want to add?
I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for, again, your this ideal bright light in my life. And thank you for moving me from wanting to please everybody else, this blind spot where I was creating everything for other people. And you just continue to bring me back to myself and what felt good to me. That's priceless for me.
It's my absolute pleasure and joy.
Yeah.
It truly is. And I know how many lives you're going to touch in such meaningful, powerful ways. So, I mean, what else could anyone ask for? Really? Yeah. And from one redhead to another, I see your fire. I see your passion and your joy, and I'm just celebrating you every step of the way, Carrie. So I will see you very soon, of course, in session. And for those who want to connect with Carrie, we'll link to her information. And if you're interested in learning more about the Dharma Foundations course, go ahead and type success below this video, and I will send you the details about how you can get started and join us in this process. We have some coaching coming up in this process starting in October. Payel is going to be doing weekly coaching for 6 weeks with you. And we have some other exciting bonuses coming as well. So this is a really good time to jump in, get started, lay the foundation of your dharmic path and your offerings, and integrate body and business in a very harmonious way. So type success below. I'll share all the information with you, and I'll look forward to seeing you inside the Dharma Foundations course. Thanks again, Carrie.
You're so welcome. Bye.